What's up everybody in YouTube land? This is Mickey with Mickey's RC, and in today's video we are going to be comparing the newly released at the time of this video Traxxas HOSS 4x4 VXL and just kind of showing how it compares to the other 10th scale 4x4 monster trucks in the Traxxas lineup. Now you can tell at first glance the Traxxas HOSS is more closely comparable to the Rustler and Stampede in terms of design language and structure, but it is very similar to the MAXX in some ways, and we'll get into that here a bit later. But right off the top, I just want to cover some key points of these trucks. We have this MAXX coming in at 5.6 pounds, this Rustler at 5.12 pounds, this HOSS at 6.3 pounds, and with the addition of these much larger sledgehammer tires, we can see where that extra pound and some change of weight is coming in at. You can see just how gigantic they are as compared to the Talon EXT tires on the Rustler. Now the MAXX, boy, she is thick, coming in at 9.7 pounds. We're talking 10 pounds with no battery in the truck. Now, in terms of durability, these trucks are not comparable. The MAXX is on a whole new level. In terms of durability, I feel like this was a missed opportunity by Traxxas to make a really cool truck. If you look, they really just took the best of the Stampede and Rustler and put it into the HOSS, added better tires, center differential, torquier motor, clipless body system. If you just want the quick rundown and you don't want to watch the rest of the video, that's literally what the HOSS is. Just off the top, same crappy servo, same speed controller. They include the fan because the heavier truck, torquier motor, they're trying to keep it cool. But in getting into more detail, the Stampede had a lot of weaknesses on it. The really crappy A-arms, the really thin drive shafts, spur gear, which there's also a spur gear on the Rustler. But you can see they did a couple good things and bad things with both of these trucks. They've got the servo on top, which is great, but they had it too close to the receiver box. On the Rustler, they just put it sideways underneath the receiver box, and it was just a nightmare to work on and taking the front end off, and it was just a really poor design choice. And the A-arms and the crappy A-arms and crappy drive shafts, they improved that on the Rustler. You can see it has the heavy-duty plastic drive shafts and the new heavy-duty A-arms, which have way more give to them, which makes them last longer. And you can see they really just carried over the Rustler A-arms and drive shafts and stuck them on here. Same crappy shocks. They have a new shock cap on them. Don't know if that's any good or not. Still, overall, these shocks aren't that great. Out of the box, they'll last you a long time as long as you're not too hard on them. Same adjustable push and tie rods from the Rustler. Same battery tie down. You can see on the Stampede it had the pin. On the Rustler they came up with this new design. It swivels out, so it makes it real easy to put a battery in there. However, I had the Rustler 4x4, hated it. It was terrible in the air, and just like my second landing, it wasn't exactly perfect, and this swing out battery tie down popped out. My battery flew out. It was weird. It was really weird. I just had a really bad experience with it. So I'm not super excited about this battery tie down, but pick your poison. It's either a pin or this, and the pin is rather annoying when you have to put batteries in and out of your truck. First world problems. We like conveniences, and this truck offers quite a few in addition to the clipless body. But overall, they really took the best of both worlds on the Stampede and Rustler and put it into the Traxxas HOSS. And again, better drive shafts, better A-arms, better servo placement, and they were able to do that by stretching this chassis out more. This truck has the same wheelbase, the same 295 millimeter wheelbase as the Rustler. They all have the VXL 3S speed controller. Again, this one just has the fan on it. It's a heavier truck. It needs it. It has the torquier 540 XL motor, the same one that comes in the MAXX. It's the 540 XL 2400 kV motor. The Rustler and Stampede have the 3500 kV Velineon motor in there, which is great. I never had an issue with it. But with this much torquier motor, torquier is not a word, with this motor that has more torque in it, I think this truck's going to be a dream to handle in the air. I think it's going to handle extremely well. But overall, they really took the best of both of these trucks and put it into this truck. One thing that I don't like amongst the shock caps and the crappy plastic stock servo is the fact that they chose to incorporate this honeycomb design in there, which I don't like. I like the flat style of the chassis. It's easy to clean out. If you get any mud or dirt in here, it's an absolute nightmare to get in all the cracks and crevices. And I'm willing to bet that this little honeycomb design is not really doing anything for this chassis. And I say that because if you take any front end damage, it's going right here into the diff housing. If you take any damage from the top of your truck, you land on the roof of your truck, it's going into the shock tower, shock mount, whatever you want to call it, straight into the diff assembly and the diff housing, excuse me. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure some of this energy is getting transferred into the chassis, but overall, it's really not. I'm telling you, anyone who has a Stampede or Rustler, if you've ever taken it apart, the shock tower is literally part of the diff housing. It's the top portion of it. It's really weird how they have it designed like that. Now, jumping over to the Traxxas Max, you can see if you take any damage from the front, all this energy is going to go right here into the chassis, right directly into it, and the energy is going to get just transferred around all the electronics, all the drivetrain, everything. If you take any damage from the top of your truck, it's going to go right into these shock towers. So any damage that you take from the front, top, it's going into the chassis. Again, I just feel like this was a really missed opportunity on Traxxas's behalf to really make something special for the 10th scale lineup, and really they just kind of took some good stuff and put it on here and redesigned the tub to fit a torquier motor in it, and clipless body design, slapped some sledgehammers on there, $480 price tag. But it would have been cool. Like I said, I feel like they could have done something special here in redesigning this. It would have been cool to see the chassis come in like this and then out towards the back, so that the bumper could attach directly to the chassis. So if you took any front and rear damage, it would go into the actual chassis of the vehicle. And then also in that course, attach the shock mounts and differentials directly to the chassis of the vehicle. Again, if we come over here and look at the Max, you can see any energy is getting transferred directly into the chassis of the vehicle, which is just absolutely brilliant. The X-Max is their, I'm sure, most durable truck, and they said, let's just make a mini version of it. And for good reason, it is extremely popular. However, like I said, I personally don't like heavy trucks. I like lighter trucks. I think they're funner to play with. I'm selling my Max and getting the Hoss personally, just because I like a lighter truck. Is this truck more durable? No, it's not. I, really would have loved to have a truck that had the durability of the Max and the lightness and ground clearance of the Stampede. And I was really hoping that this truck would have been it, and it just wasn't exactly what I was looking for. But it's still more in line with what I want in terms of ground clearance and lightness of a truck. On the topic of ground clearance, we can see that the Stampede comes in at 74 millimeters, which I really loved about this truck. I think the body is obnoxiously high off the ground. However, the Rustler is 27 millimeters of ground clearance, which is nothing. This is an LCG, low center of gravity chassis. It's designed to be closer to the ground. If you enjoy driving your truck on pavement, this is something that you would want in terms of handling capabilities. The Hoss comes in at 70 millimeters of ground clearance. However, if we take how large these tires are in comparison to the Rustler, if we were to stick smaller tires on this truck, that ground clearance would drop significantly. The Max, again, this is what I hate most about the Max. The ground clearance is nothing. Yes, it's 49 millimeters. It is more than the Rustler at 27 millimeters, but the truck weighs 10 pounds. At 10 pounds, this truck is way too close to the ground. Way too close. Put a YMAX kit on it, makes it worse. GPM Racing has a spring set with a much higher spring rate that you can get for this truck. If you're running a YMAX kit and it's supposed to help significantly, I have not been able to find it in stock anywhere, so I haven't been able to try that out. But in the grand scheme of things, the Hoss is, I think, a very good middle ground in terms of ground clearance between these other trucks. And some other things I didn't really go over in this video, in this comparison video, because they're kind of unique to the Hoss in general, is the fact that these sledgehammers have a very hard compound, which a lot of people may not like because it's less realistic. I believe you'd get a lot less grip on pavement, but for off-road use, I enjoy a harder compound. It lasts longer. You get more grip. It just wants to dig down a lot better. And the receiver box is actually halfway molded into the chassis. If you look at a traditional receiver box, you have the top part and then the bottom part, and then the bottom part screws into the chassis, which they did on the Max, which is funny because on the X Max it also has the same design for the receiver box. But aside from that, if weight isn't a big issue to you and you want a truck that is way more durable, the Traxxas Max is just leaps and bounds better than the Hoss, and it's only $50 or $60 more. With that being said, I am still going to sell my Max and get the Hoss because I overall enjoy a lighter truck. I just feel like they're just more fun to play with. Now I'm going to, I'll put some overlays on here so we can kind of look at how the Max sits on top. So we can see if I just snap the opacity back and forth, you can see just, wow. Just look at how much more there is to the Max. And I'll go ahead and fade it back and forth a few times. You're talking about, that Max is an animal. It's just a beast compared to this Hoss. Just overall, it's just got so much more going on with this truck. And like I said, that's why I feel like this is a missed opportunity on Traxxas's behalf, because here we go with the adjustable push and tie rods, and it's nice to be able to adjust them, but at the same time it's nice to not have to adjust them, and for the toe and camber to always be perfect. And this makes the truck more durable, not having adjustable push and tie rods. And I just really wish they would have. RPM makes some. I think for the Stampede you can buy 2 kits and use just the longer versions of them, but I would have really liked to see just solid plastic links for the Hoss. I dropped the Hoss on top of the Rustler, and so we can see, just look at in this area right here where the tires are, you can see it's a whole lot more tire. But if you look in here, it's the same A-arm, same drive shaft, same links, same shocks, same everything. On the Rustler, they did this weird thing with the servo placement in the receiver box, because they were selling a kit, I guess, that you could put right up here that made RC sound effects, which I think is kind of corny, but I guess some people like it. And in doing that, it just really ruined this truck for me anyways, in addition to a couple other things. But again, you can see overall they're pretty much the same truck. You can see the Hoss has the Nerf bars in here, and the wheelie bar goes back much further, which I think is a great addition. The Rustler had that built-in spoiler, and if you ever landed on it, it would just eat into the body. I didn't like the design of the body on the Rustler either. It's just really nothing. There's just nothing I like about the Rustler at all. Anyways, this is just me fading the Hoss in and out. This is the Rustler. Here comes the Hoss again. So generally the exact same truck with larger tires and a different front bumper, rear bumper, or front and rear bumper. And again, the Hoss has a center differential. The Rustler only has a slipper clutch. Just wanted to do a quick comparison of the Hoss and some of the good things and bad things about it in comparison to these other trucks. So I'm definitely going to be getting the Traxxas HOSS 4x4 VXL. Now, if you're thinking about getting a truck, you're in the market to get something here pretty soon, look down in the description for this video, and I'm going to drop a link down there for a $5 off coupon to RC Planet. I don't know if you have a preference of where you get your RC stuff from, but RC Planet, for the time being, anyways, is tax-free. and any order over $100 ships free in the continental United States. Hope this video was helpful. I hope this clarified some things for people who don't have local hobby shops, who really kind of wanted to get a better idea of what was going on with these trucks and how it compared to the others. So if you like this video, you know the routine, you know the game plan. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and look forward to seeing you next time. And until next time, see ya.